This Sunday we reach the halfway stage in Season 3 of House of the Dragon. Rhaenyra Targaryen sits the Iron Throne, but in no way is her reign secure. She has very little coin to keep King's Landing running, and its people fed, all whilst her enemies move against her. Aemond recovers from his wounds at the haunted castle of Harrenhal. Aegon moves closer to Rook's Rest in the hope of finding men loyal to him. And Aemond Hightower has taken the market town of Tumbleton in the Reach, holding its citizens hostage, daring Rhaenyra to unleash fire and blood on him. It's clear Aemond knows the Hightower host stands no chance whatsoever against Rhaenyra's dragons. I still find the fake Daeron plot was rather weak, but it is what it is. The real Daeron is the ginger kid from episode 1. I suppose he takes after his mother rather than his father. He has been a ward of the Hightowers in Old Town since he was very young. Alicent had very little to do with his upbringing. In fact, she admitted she was kind of glad he was raised away from King's Landing, hoping he was unlike his older brothers. Unfortunately for the kid, he grew up with a bunch of religious fanatics that hate the Targaryens. Aemond may fight the Blacks, but in no way is he a supporter of Aegon nor Aemond. He would rather Daeron ascend the Iron Throne, a Hightower king in all but name. And after the High Septon refused to crown Rhaenyra and basically told her the Targaryens and the dragons are abominations born from dark magic, cue all the Furies on the Faith, the Hightowers and the Maesters of Old Town working together to rid the world of the last Dragon Lords of Old Valyria. So at this point, we may as well disregard much that is written in Fire and Blood. The show has proved time and time again that George R. R. Martin's original version of the Dance of the Dragons is merely an outline. So with all that being said, Season 3 is building up to the first Battle of Tumbleton. But unlike in the books, the Blacks will be the attackers, not defenders. I must admit Aemond is putting a lot of faith in Rhaenyra's restraint here, but I guess he believes it's the will of the gods, and they are on his side. His purpose is to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne. Daeron is of Viserys' blood, but will be nothing more than a Hightower puppet, something they've been planning since Alicent was offered to Viserys all those years ago. And I don't know how much of the budget for this season went into the first 2 episodes, so I'm not expecting much until the final 2, so perhaps the battle takes place in episodes 7 or 8. But for now, we are on the road to Tumbleton. And as I said, there's no way Aemond's forces can stand up to Rhaenyra's dragons. As Daemon said, they now have 6. Caraxes, Vermithor, Silverwing, Seasmoke, Moondancer and Syrax. So Aemond's basically goading Rhaenyra into attacking the town and burning those that raised their banners for her. And after all the trouble she faced in episode 3, I doubt that's going to happen. Rhaenyra wants to be the champion of the people, so burning her subjects is off the table. Her dragon advantage is basically nullified as long as she shows restraint. Her dragons are nothing more than intimidation or reconnaissance at this stalemate. But the wild card is Hugh Hammer. His wife and her brother are in the town. And remember, Hugh rides Vermithor, second dragon only to Vhagar, and there's no way he doesn't get involved in some capacity. He's remained loyal to Rhaenyra, but there's only so far you can push a man. He's frustrated with her being unable to support his family straight away, and now his wife is in danger. This only ends one way. And as for Ulf the White, not Targaryen, he's down the pub. I just hope he's not drink dragon riding, and is Silverwing parked outside the pub? Anyways, I'm just glad Ulf doesn't think he's too famous to hang out with his boys. But time and time again, he's been disrespected by the true-born Targaryens. So how long until he breaks? But away from Tumbleton, Rhaenyra's financial woes continue. She has no money to pay her soldiers, and that's not a good look, because it only ends one way. If you don't pay them, they'll put their swords down, and they will start to riot. They'll take what they want. So Mazaria suggests naming a Master of Coin, basically to take the blame. It's his fault there's no money. A very high-profile job that likely pays well, but you're constantly blamed and disrespected. Is this the worst job on the small council? And I remember in Game of Thrones it was held by Littlefinger and later Tyrion Lannister. But on a positive side, Rhaenyra finally has a Queen's Guard. I kinda wish both factions had different armour, but I suppose it'd be a bad look if she commissioned new armour when the people were starving. And we can also see Rhaenyra around the walls of the Red Keep. Is she looking for antiques to sell, or is she just taking a trip down memory lane? You know times are tough when you have to sell off the family heirlooms. But after last week's episode, which was basically a Rhaenyra point of view, I think it's time for her to take a back seat in this one. She'll ever be present, but give others a chance to get the spotlight. I feel House of the Dragon has done a poor job developing its side characters. Outside of the big three, Rhaenyra, Alicent and Daemon, you don't get any screen time. Viserys got a lot in season 1, but once he popped his clogs, it basically became about the big three. And I think one of the most mistreated characters is Helaena. We can see her spending time with her daughter, as Rhaenyra promised her. She will get to visit Jaehaera under supervision, and there's so many theories that she's currently pregnant. So does that mean Maelor will finally make an appearance? But the question is, who's the daddy? Is it Aegon before his cock exploded? Or are the fan theories of Aemond and Helaena true? No matter what, George R. Martin is spitting feathers at this point. We can also see Corlys and Alan with the Valyrian troops. Are they preparing to approach Tumbleton? But after Rhaenyra told her hand basically where to go when it came to legitimising his bastards, do you really think the Sea Snake's heart is still with her cause? In episode 4 we'll see the return of Aegon. Aegon and Larys finally reach Rook's Rest, the scene of the crime where it all went wrong for him, and Larys warns his king that these men are only loyal to themselves. So don't pull down your hood and declare yourself the rightful king just yet. We can also see the corpse of Rhaenys dragon, Meleys, who was killed during the battle with Vhagar and Sunfire. And speaking of Sunfire, Baela reported that Sunfire is dead and rotten, and at this stage, nothing surprises me. I would not be surprised if they piss all over the books with this matter, but I've got a strong feeling we haven't seen the last of Sunfire the Golden. And we return to Harrenhal, where Criston Cole comes looking for his prince. Aemond is nowhere to be seen, but they're welcomed by the spooky witch, Alice Rivers. Aemond is likely bedbound, recovering from his wound, and is likely under the influence of Alice. Are we going to have to endure more fever dreams in the haunted castle? And to be honest, what's Alice's game? Supposedly she's a bastard of House Strong and she wants the castle for herself, but is she up to something more sinister? She just needs a highborn husband, and who just happens to land in her lap? A man with the highest of all names, and the biggest dragon in the realm. No matter what, you cannot deny Alice has got style. And finally return to the Eyrie in the Vale. Lady Jane Arryn is a cousin of Rhaenyra, and the Dragon Queen has sent Daemon to demand coin in place of the swords they never sent. But remember, Daemon is unwelcome in the Vale after what went down with his first wife, so don't expect the red carpet to be rolled out for the rogue prince. And let's not forget who is last seen in the Vale, Daemon's daughter Rhaena. That's if Daemon actually remembers who she is. Will this be where he learns the truth of Sheepstealer's rider, and will he finally be the father he should have been all these years? Will he defend his daughter, or turn her over to his wife? It sure looks like an interesting episode that sets us on the road to the first battle of Tumbleton, and brings Aegon and Aemond back into the fray. But guys, let me know your thoughts. What are you most excited for in this one? To be honest, the whole Rhaena-Daemon stuff is rather interesting. They've done a terrible job with Daemon's second marriage. It was over in a flash, and there was nothing in the aftermath of Laena's death. So hopefully now, Daemon starts acting like the father he should have been. That's if he can take his mind off world domination, and getting back at Ormond for the whole fake Daeron BS. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.